Welcome to Season 2 of Brawlhalla Origins. This season's lineup is packed with awesome guests from various backgrounds in the Brawlhalla community. Join our VIP list by signing up at season2.brawlhallaorigins.com to get early access to each episode, special clips, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes updates. Today's guest is Tybo. He's a former competitive player who achieved Rank 1 during the early days of Brawlhalla and went on to work on the game as a programming intern.
Picks up the Catars and chases him off the map.
Excellent.
Covers the landing, and that's a round for Tybo.
Goes for the ledge cancel taunt to end the game. And Tybo takes winner's quarters 2-0 to move on to winner's semis.
Brawlhalla Origins is presented by Brawl Academy. Brawl Academy's mission is to provide the best educational content for improving at Brawlhalla to support competition long-term by bringing in and leveling up new talent. Learn more at brawlacademy.com. Brawlhalla Origins Season 2 is sponsored by SIB Esports. Go support them and follow what they do over at esportssib.com.
Welcome to another episode of Brawlhalla Origins. Today I have on the show Tybo.
Hi.
Tybo, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm tired. But
Father and son podcast, let's go.
I know, right? It's been honestly, we probably should have done this like way before now.
Yeah. Back in 2017, maybe. When I was good at the game.
But, I mean, that's what we're here to talk about. So, for any new listeners that aren't aware, Brawlhalla Origins is a podcast where I talk to notable members of the Brawlhalla community about their history with the game. And so I'll open with the usual question that I always ask everyone. Tybo, how did you find Brawlhalla?
Steam. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, a little different. We had a TeamSpeak server with just a bunch of friends that all played Melee. We emulated Melee on Dolphin, like 2013, 2014.
Oh wow!
And just
okay.
one of the guys just found the game over there and sent it to everyone, and they all played it for like 2 or 3 days. And then I played it for, 10 years, 9 years. So, yeah.
They were clearly not as committed.
Yeah. What casuals?
So, I did the episode with Foda at the end of season 1. And he mentioned that back when he was coming up, you were one of the highest ranked players in the game. So, do you want to talk a little bit about how all that went down from your perspective?
Sure. Yeah, I was the third. I actually hit up. So the first diamond player ever was Misfit, and then the second I think was Kreutzberg, and then the third was me. I asked Kreutzberg recently, does he remember? And he says he doesn't know if he was second or I was second. So I'm just taking third. I was the third diamond. But yeah, basically just started. Friend got me into it. I grinded ranked all day, every day. Like, I was a 19, 20-year-old college student, and I did not have a life. So I just came home, and I just played 8 hours of ranked, just locking in Ada and gun-saring my way to platinum in like a few days. Back then, balance was widely, it was there was no balance. Balance was not a word in Brawlhalla yet. So I pretty much gun-sared just everyone, and that got nerfed very quickly. but yeah, then I saw Raven was in tournament using Ada as well. That's kind of what made me use Ada. And it was a Compton EMT tournament, I think, which he was kind of what made me, like, Raven was kind of what made me take the game like seriously, I guess.
Okay.
And I would just snipe him, and like every time he streamed, like when he streamed at night, he was the top Brawlhalla streamer, and he had like 30 viewers in the entire community, in his stream.
Right.
And so I would just snipe him and do 1v1s over and over until I got decent at the game, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started streaming shortly after that myself. First time ever streaming, it was terrible. Terrible audio quality, terrible visual quality. I had so much on the screen, you couldn't see the game itself. But it was a lot of fun. it wasn't until I started taking the game very seriously when I met Daiku.
Mm.
EXO he was Sword God back then. he went through 3 names. So Sword God, then EXO, and now Daiku. And he was just a viewer in my chat, and he was like gold at the time, and he hit me up to spar. And so we got in TeamSpeak, and we just played and played and played like 10 hours a day, I would say, of just playing this like game with 1,000 players on Steam. We just saw something in the game, I guess, that not a lot of people saw back then, because it it had amazing netcode since day one.
Right.
Well, I guess not super amazing. It got better over the years, but still, even back in like 2014, like it was playable Smash Online, which is a selling point in itself.
That was a big deal back then, because I feel like pretty much was like one of the few options that existed. Right?
Yeah, pretty much the only option that I could see. Like Rivals of Aether came after, a couple years after.
Right.
And there was a few that popped up, but none that had like the staying power that Brawlhalla had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is all due to the netcode. Like Brawlhalla's structure is just perfect in my opinion, where you can, log into the game 5 seconds, you click, spacebar or whatever, click 4 times and you're in a match.
Mm-hmm.
And free to play. It had everything going for it. But yeah, anyways, played with EXO just over and over until I got good and became 3rd diamond player.
3rd diamond player. That's kind of crazy to think about. Like, you were very early to the game. Like,
yeah.
Have you
had anyone earlier on this show yet?
No, you are the earliest, and might be. I don't even know who I would talk to that would be earlier than you at this point.
I'd have to see Crocky's number, because I'm 60,000. Like, you have the ID, which is your
player,
right, yeah,
like
you logged in. Yeah, I'm 60K, like somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I have to see what his is, but
yeah, I'll have to ask him when I do his recording later. Actually, his is coming up pretty soon, so that'll be a good question to find out which one of you is actually whose account is older.
Because I know Crocky was also streaming at the time. Like me, him, and Raven were kind of the 3 big Brawlhalla streamers, where the community, at least the competitive community, would follow us around in Twitch chat back then.
It's such a different environment these days.
Yeah.
Just
now,
thinking
when you look
about
at the Brawlhalla Twitch channel, there's hundreds of people streaming the game.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about, like, how far the game has come from sort of like that tiny beginning to after being at BCX in November. Like, it's just crazy how far it's come. And like, I started in the end of 2016. Yeah, the end of 2016. Like, it was pretty much right after BCX 2016 that I found the game.
Oh, nice.
Because it was right before Mirage came out.
Yeah, you were getting into the game when I was coming back to the game. Like, after my time at BMG, when I was coming back as a player, that's when I saw you initially pop up.
Right. So, actually, that's a good segue. Do you want to talk a little bit about, because I know Foda mentioned this briefly on his episode, your time at BMG, because I think you were there like as an intern?
Yeah, I was an intern for about 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Foda talked about it, where he and we lived very close together in Michigan, about an hour away. And we actually, we were like becoming friends, visiting each other, because, he came to the scene, and we joined, or we made Boo together. So we were friends already, and we joined this Slack channel with Tivorus and some other developers, where they just wanted like input on the game from top players, basically. And I guess Foda got a job offer through there, and Tivorus learned that I was in college for programming. And so I don't remember who asked who. It's probably me begging Tivorus, like, give me a chance, please. I want to work at this game. But we were trying to figure out, the logistics of it. And Foda was just like, I can just take him down there. We can be roommates. It'll all work out. So he's basically the reason that I got the internship down there. It's just a lot of like things that fell into place unexpectedly.
It was like right place, right time kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a 9 months of internship. I worked on the training room a lot. I did like the position and damage reset stuff, the attack and dodge reactions when you hit someone. I did the catch bomb. I don't. Is that even still in the game? Have
It
you ever
is.
played that?
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I made that. I also helped design some maps. I made the very loved Miami Dome. Back then, it was called like Ice Cream Cone or something. I forget
it
what it's
was like Ice Cream Edge, I think.
Ice
was
Cream
the
Edge.
original?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You remember it? I don't. Well, yeah, that map has some mixed opinions, but I thought it was cool because it was the first map that had like the under part where you couldn't go under the map.
Right.
Yeah.
It also
kind of
originally had a what was it, a sliding platform on the underside of the map or something that like popped out of like the
Oh,
bottom.
it did. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it went through the main platform and it was like it was kind of inspired by, the cloud map in Melee where the little clouds are on the edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was inspired by that. But that map has some mixed opinions. I like it. The double jump height on the platforms, not a lot of people are fond of, but
I like the map. My only problem with it is visual clarity. The Miami Dome, once it got added to once they put the actual art onto it,
yeah.
the visual clarity suffered a lot for me. I just can't see people on that map. But otherwise, I think it's great.
Yeah. It was kind of a problem back then with how floaty the game was. It was so easy. Like, you couldn't edge guard because you would just, there was no dash. Yet.
Right.
So you would just jump out of the map and you would have a free recovery every time you get knocked off almost. So that's why I added the thing underneath. Other than that, I also worked on some legends. I think Photo talked about it, where it was really cool working at BMG because they would just throw up like a Slack thread where it's just like, anyone who wants to work on, Val, click this, and now you're a Val designer, right? So I helped with like Val, Ragnar, did a lot with Scythe, mostly TWK, but I helped with Scythe. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Created your career.
No. That's great.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think this is cool for me also because I don't think we've ever talked about any of kind of like more specific stuff that you did at BMG. So I'm learning some new stuff here too, which is fun.
IQ often makes fun of me because he said I was going to save Brawlhalla because we were making this like Mario Party thing. It was on a few dev streams way back then. Where
I think I remember this.
Yeah, there was like a hockey game mode. It's basically became the Brawl of the Week, but the game modes were a lot more unique, I guess. There was like hockey game mode and like a pogo game mode and a bunch of just like game modes that you were gonna spin a wheel and do like Mario Party style in Brawlhalla. And he said that would have made Brawlhalla so good, and then I left, so I ruined Brawlhalla. Sorry.
You destroyed the game. That's real sad.
The game. Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I thought it would have been cool. It would have given like casual something to do more than just friendly 2v2s or whatever,
Yeah. That's a really cool concept. It's too bad that it never got kind of taken to completion.
Yeah, I'm sure they just scrapped it after I left. I kind of left unexpectedly because my mom got sick, wasn't doing too great, and she lives by herself, so I went back home to take care of her.
Gotcha. Okay. So then you mentioned kind of like you were re-entering the scene as a player at about the same time that I started playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
What was it kind of like after? So you had your time at BMG, and then now you're coming back as a player again and competing again. What was kind of the difference there?
Yeah, so it was 9 months of working at BMG where I didn't really touch the game at all. Like I played a little bit casually, and then I also had a 6-month period where I couldn't play in any tournaments after leaving BMG.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like a year and a half since I played seriously, and it's a very weird feeling because I left pretty much on top. I know Foda talked about it, but like we won the biggest tournament like the day before we joined BMG, right?
Mhm.
And so going from that and then taking a year and a half break where all these things got added and players got so much better, it was very humbling to now go into a tournament and struggle for top 32. But I mean, I just did what I did back then and just grinded and grinded and grinded. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
have
got to
Daiku
be
anymore.
you got to be pretty damn good again. I remember struggling against, I think it was your Yumiko a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
I was
The down
I was
sig.
I was very bad against Bo in particular back then,
Yeah.
and then Yumiko downsig was something else, man. It still kind of is something else,
I still think she's such a cool character, which is kind of like the zoning character.
right?
Yeah, it's not many like that. But I kind of had a little bit of advantage, I guess, because when I came back is also when Dash got officially added. So everyone kind of had this like soft reset. Did you
Oh
play
yeah,
before Dash or did you
yeah.
come after Dash?
No, I played before Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I think my last notable top 8 was on chain dodge. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, chain dodge. That needs to stay in the history books. Yeah. Sad thing is, I got added when I was working there.
Yeah, you really did ruin Brawlhalla, Tybo. What
I
happened?
did. I know. That should be the episode of this, or the title of this episode.
Tybo ruined Brawlhalla.
But yeah, Dash got added, so I kind of had like, I could spam Dash and get good at it before other people did, to kind of have a little bit of advantage coming back. So I think that's what helped me like
Oh,
get back into the top 16s and stuff.
did you actually get to play on Dash before it was like public?
No, no,
Or
no. I just mean when I was coming back into competitive
Oh,
Brawlhalla, that's when it got
okay.
like added. So like
Got
everyone
it.
kind of had to learn it with me at the same time,
Got
because
it.
it would have
That
been
makes
it would have
sense.
been a lot harder if like I had to learn the chain dashing meta, a year and a half later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and that was also the year that BMG did the crazy idea of, oh, we're just going to replace chain dodge with dash in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I mean that was what Tiverus was working there. He just when I was working at BMG and like gravity cancel got introduced or made a thing, it was just like you come in one morning, Tiverus is like, "Yo, come over here, come check this out," and it's just like, "Oh, this is sick, all right," and then he pushes the button and now it's in the game.
Oh man, fly by the seat of your pants development is
Yeah,
my favorite.
it was good.
Yeah, the Brawlhalla was changing like so rapidly back then, and it was like they had that benefit of like being in beta and only on PC,
Yeah,
and so it's just so much easier to push changes and see it go live when you don't have like
yeah,
a billion layers of console compliance to go through.
yeah. Yeah, because I also joined when they were porting over to PS4 or whatever. So yeah, it was just PC. You could just queue up a patch, and then next Wednesday it would go out.
Yep. Yeah, back in the days when Brawlhalla could patch for the fun of it.
Yeah. I ruined the game one time because I was working on some networking side of things, and you queued up, or when you went to the characters select, all the characters were gone. So there's some negatives to being able to patch so fast, because it went live without anyone checking it.
Oh man. Okay, so you returned to the game. You started kind of like relearning things with everyone else because Dash was introduced. How did you end up doing, I guess, for the people that aren't aware, like competitively, from that point?
Yeah, so when I came back, I was struggling for top 32. Like I said, top 32 wasn't nearly as like competitive as it is now. Like top 32 is a good thing nowadays, but back then I would say a player like me who had already 5,000 hours under the game, like I was pretty disappointed in myself. But just like how I initially started, I just found something that I thought was broken, and spammed it until I got better at it than most people. You know, back then it was Gunsair or Sword Downlight, and this time it was Yumiko Downsig. So I got some top 8s. I got 3rd in Winners 2017 with Wrenched 2v2s. I got some 5ths with I got a top 8 with Crocky one time, but it was just kind of like a gradual growth. My main partner was Mantrack, and we got sponsored by Underworld, and we started going to LANs and stuff, and that was really fun. It's probably the peak of my competitive careers during that time. Even though I wasn't like, back in 2015 winning every tournament, it was still a really good time, and the community was like starting to grow a lot.
Yeah, as things started to kind of blow up, and a lot of players kind of started seeing their initial blow-ups, things got kind of really fun, I think. Like that BCX 2017, 2018, like those are some pretty memorable events, I think, for most of the people that were able to go, which was what kind of made it really exciting again when we found out that they were going back to the Cobb Galleria last year.
Yeah, that's the only one I've ever been to. I was at 2017, 2016, and that was both the Cobb Galleria.
Yeah.
And speaking of 2017, though, I think that's when I lost to you at BCX, isn't it?
Was that, that was the Waterfall. Wait, was 2017 Waterfall?
I believe so, yeah, because 2016, I wasn't able to play because I was...
Oh, right.
DMG.
And then 2018 was DreamHack, right?
Yeah. I didn't go to that one, but yeah.
Yeah, 2017. That was a very depressing
very sad
set for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Because
if I remember right, I lost to you, and then I'm out, and then you learned afterwards that you didn't have a chance of even getting in top 32, right?
I don't think either of us did. I think the way that the math worked out, because Blood Diamond didn't drop a game. Neither of us had. We were literally playing a match that didn't matter.
Yeah.
We were playing a match that didn't matter, and we played our fucking hearts out.
Yeah. The Mordex Ditto.
It was probably the most intense set that happened all day, and it was like at the end of the day when the tournament was basically over. And that was rough.
Yeah, I usually don't show too much emotion like during games or ever, but I remember after that game very specifically, like walking off, there was something on the ground, I kicked it. So mad.
You were not happy about losing to me.
No. Go into the bathroom and you hear, sniffles from the people who've already lost. It's like, oh man, this is the saddest moment.
Yeah, I had that was a very depressing run for me, because I think I got like 2 or 3 just major upsets on that run to top 32, and then finished it out with the most intense game of all time that didn't matter. It was so sad.
At least Blood Diamond, I think, got top 8 that year. So,
yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. And the rest of the event was, great.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this, right? 2v2s at that BCX. Do you remember 2v2s. What happened? Do you remember?
I was teaming with Mantrack, right?
Do you remember how you and Mantrack got eliminated?
No, I don't think I do. No, what happened?
It was also me.
You're gonna give me trauma. Oh, was it? That's great. I gotta go, guys. Thanks for listening.
but this one was even worse because it was because of the crazy tiebreaker rules that they had. Because it was me and Narwhal versus you and Mantrack. We tied to get out of that pool or whatever, and we had to play a 1-stop game.
A 1-stop? Really?
Yeah.
What?
We had to play a 1-stop game because we tied. We had a perfect tie, and they decided the rules were if you get a perfect tie, the only way to resolve it is to play a 1-stop game.
Wow.
So we played a one stock game and won, and that's how you guys got knocked out.
That sounds about right. That sums up my Brawler career. Yeah.
Oh man.
At
Yeah,
lands, I've never like performed at lands. Like I just get, I don't know, stage fright or something. Like I'll be dominating online, dominating spars, and then we get into a bracket or something, yeah, and I just can't play.
I have a hard time adapting to offline.
Oh yeah.
This BCX was no exception because I went 0-2. I drowned in pools really badly. And it was a combination of like I felt like I was playing in mud. Like the setups themselves felt fine. I just didn't adapt to them in time.
Yeah.
And then I also got like the most unlucky bracket of all time because I got 2 back-to-back West players who have no placements because they can't perform online.
Oh right.
But are like secretly really good.
Yeah, that's rough.
So
after that tournament, I don't. That might have been like the last time I actually really played. I know I played like some in 2018, but it was kind of just like I never considered myself. I listened to the Noel episode, and I sympathize a lot with him. Where I don't feel like I have much like innate talent in this game, I would say.
Okay.
And so that's why I always felt like I had to just grind and grind and grind, like more than other people did.
Right.
And so like as the years went on, like 2018, it just became like, getting a job and actually having a life, not being the 20-year-old loser I was back then. I couldn't dedicate 10 hours a day to keeping up with everyone. So I kind of slowly fell off.
Yeah, that makes sense. The more that real life starts to get in the way, the less you're able to keep up with all of the kids that have all of the time in the world to continue grinding. Exactly. And man, they are definitely grinding these days because jeez.
I mean, as they should. Like Brawlhalla's still popping up. I still see Brawlhalla having a good like 5 years alive.
Oh yeah,
I'd say. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm kind of excited to see the esports announcements in January because I not for competitive reasons, but simply because like just seeing the game continue to grow.
Yeah, see what they're going to do with it next.
Yeah, because I know that team is like Toast and his team on like the production side and the esports side especially, like they are never satisfied. And
very exciting thing for me is seeing Foda. What's his title? Is it lead game design now or something?
Yeah, he's like design lead for the game.
Yeah, that's probably the most exciting thing for me because I spent 9 months living with him. I know that he's just always thinking of crazy ideas. He's basically like Tiverus was back then.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just pops off with something randomly.
Oh
adds a new mechanic to the game or something like that.
Oh yeah, all the dash updates. Those are all like out of his brain as far as I'm aware. And then I think there was like a dev stream recently where they talked about making improvements to the way wall cling works. And that would be exciting. Yeah. But the man's cooking. And I think that was honestly like kind of a turning point because it felt like COVID did a lot of damage to the Brawlhalla community.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. Around like 2021, 2020, I was like actually thinking the game was like the community was gonna leave, or the game was gonna. There's too much money in it for the people to leave completely, but you could definitely see like just on Twitter and stuff, not building up for Brawlhalla. Then it has a complete turnaround. So
yeah, and then BCX was like that. Last year's BCX was kind of the turning point, I think, because people finally got to like get together and be in the same room again and like see what it's all about, like for real. And that was a lot of some of these new players like first experience doing
On the
that and like
land,
being
yeah.
on land, yeah. And it just changes things when you actually get to be present with the other people in the community, right?
Yeah, there's definitely an energy there that you can't replicate, online.
Yeah.
And the actual games itself is like, 5% of why you go, right? It's everything else that
Right.
happens that makes it so memorable.
Right. And then so we had that BCX, which I think kind of like re-energized sort of the community to actually like not be quite as just down on the game like they had been for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after that was like, oh yeah, and Foda is now the design lead. And then all of this amazing shit happens for
Mic drop. Yeah.
2023. And probably like easily one of the best years of Brawlhalla in, I don't know, the past like 5 years.
Yeah, I would say. It seems like when I look at my friends list now, I got Silly Gobi coming back. He was getting coaching recently. He's back in the game. Double Dime is back. We got Parallel online right now. Everyone's back.
So what about you?
I've been having a lot of fun with Battle Boots. I've been doing some ranked 1v1s, but I'm pretty casual, like a 2200 player.
Okay.
But the game's really fun. I mean, it's just I don't have the same drive I had back then. Where
Yeah.
And also I think a big part for at least how I got good was Daiku, and not to give like all the credit to Daiku, but him and we sat in TeamSpeak just all day, and like having like a friend with you just to spar instead of just going into rank 1v1s and silently playing, I think does a lot for getting better at the game.
Yeah.
Just any kind of like small community or friends you can have that have like similar goals, I think does a lot to becoming like the very top. I think you can grind rank 1v1s and you can get to a certain level, but then if you want to go the extra mile, you need friends or community.
Yeah. No, 100% agree with that for sure. I when I first started, I had a friend of mine from sort of like a competitive Overwatch team that I was on that had split up, and that's how I got introduced to Brawlhalla. Was like one of my teammates from that team was like, "Yo, you should check out this game."
Yeah.
And he showed me the ropes, and that's pretty much how I got to gold in like my first, I don't know, like couple days. And then I was real sad when I learned how all of the ranked rewards work, like the avatars and the borders and stuff. I had to play an entire season with a gold border as a diamond player.
Yeah. You don't get it till the reset.
Because you don't get it until the reset. If the season hadn't ended like 2 days after I started playing the game, I probably would have been diamond my first season. It was very fast.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm kind of sad I lost the little icon that has like right now I have the tier 27 instead of the tier 30.
Oh,
so I just didn't even get diamond for 3 seasons.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Even though I started season 1. Yeah,
that's sad.
And I could just play 10 games and get it. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's been my thing now, is just like I'm gonna play just enough to get Valhalla every season, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
And I got, and I can feel that I'm still kind of improving, because I was able to get it really quick this season.
I still haven't gotten it, so yeah, props.
Yeah. I think you could.
I could.
But it's
I
just
have
about
to go more room and
it's about the amount of effort that you would kind of,
because there's such a difference in like just getting on and playing ranked 1v1s and just having fun than there is like actually trying to improve, right? It's kind of like it's like empty calories, for a metaphor, whereas you're not actually gaining anything by just queuing. I mean, you're getting like 1%, but if you actually put in like time, watch VODs,
right,
spar people instead of rank 1v1s. Then go a lot more.
That's actually a good question. So, like, when you were getting good originally, when it was like, you mentioned kind of like you and Daiku kind of going back and forth, is there like anything specific about sort of the process that you used to improve?
I don't think we had like a specific like training regimen or anything like that. It was just a lot of like ingredients that went into a lot of successful ingredients that went into the pot that made it happen. So having a team speak with friends in it, we had Dobrin, Daiku, Blood Diamond, Foda when he's joined, just having like good players, similar mindset all around you all the time. Having that plus just having someone you can spar with and someone you can play 2v2s with and bounce ideas off each other. I'm definitely the type of player who copies things from people. Like I very rarely will I make my own play style or ideas or like I just always look to the best and copy. I think it's like you can learn 90% of what they do just by watching them, so why put in your own effort, right?
Right.
Yeah. So just watching VODs. Daiku was a crazy player back then. He was definitely the best. So being able to spar him and watch him play. And then you had Dobrin, who's just, mastermind in the frame data stuff that I've never messed with frame data or anything like that. Like I'm not that kind of player. So having him to tell me like, you should probably do this instead of this. Like, okay, you got it. I trust you. I believe you.
Yeah, having people to talk to and bounce stuff off of probably is one of the fastest ways to improve, I think.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so.
We do kind of need to talk about that tweet that happened a while ago. I think it was after BCX, right? Or was it before?
Well, I probably didn't talk to you after BCX anymore, so it's probably before. Because I think it was Shine, around like Shine time.
So what we're talking about is this tweet where I tweeted, "Don't talk to me or my son ever again," basically based on that meme.
Yeah, speaking of copying people's playstyles, right? I copied everything.
So okay, so this was August of 2017, and this kind of birthed this sort of like meme of me calling Tybo my son that has survived basically to this day.
Oh yeah, basically.
And that's been a lot of fun.
Just a little scythe player. I look to you, Effie, Dobrin, just all the good scythe players, and then I molded it into my own. To this day, Mordex is still my most played legend, which is crazy to me because I feel like I just blacked out and like played him a ton, and then it barely feels like I played him. But he's level 74, 73, and that's my highest.
I have not played Mordex as my main since 2018.
Oh really?
I think. And he's still also my most played legend.
You're on the Val now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the first level 100 Mordex, and I just hit level 100 Val, and the Mordex has like, I want to say something absurd, like a couple million more experience on it than the Val does.
Man, I envy that, being able to stick to one character, because I bounce around just everywhere. Like how long I've played this game, and my highest level is 73. A lot of people have like level 100s.
Yeah.
With half my time, and I just have a bunch of level 50s.
What's crazy is how many level 100s Crocky has at this point.
Yeah. No shade to Crocky, but also speaking about no talent and grinding, he is the embodiment of that. Like when you talk, he'll say it himself. That guy, he just will grind, get 9th, grind, get 12th.
Oh, no shade to Crocky though.
No shade to Crocky, but shade to Crocky. It's okay. We had some top 8s together. Also, shade to Crocky. If you ever teamed with him, have you ever teamed with Crocky?
I don't know if I've played 2s with him, but I don't think I've ever teamed with him for an actual event.
He freaks out in voice calls during a 2v2, and I gotta tell him just to shut up and like let me play. Like he gets so like energetic and excited, and I'm excited, and I'm just like, bro, calm down. We're just playing Brawlhalla here. Let's just win the game, you know.
I get very frustrated in 2s.
Yeah.
More than 1s. Like I don't know what it is about 2s that makes me so frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, and I think it's because 2s you can't like control, like it's not like a very logical game mode from my perspective. Like you can see like the flow chart of things in 1v1s a lot easier, but in 2v2s it's just like, you know, you get hit with a random hammer toss that combos into a end light that combos into your death, and it's like, okay, well, what should I have done there? I don't know.
Yeah, right. Although it is better now than it used to be, because like back in the day before they added DI for combos, like I think one of my just the funniest memories of things that have happened in a Brawlhalla tournament was, I think it was Starlight and Astronaut doing just bow sidelight to whoever it was. I don't even remember who it was, but it was just bow sidelight into just unarmed D-light for the kill.
Nice. Did you know Daiku and I were the first people to ever do end light on sword back and forth? People did not figure it out yet until we came into the scene and was like, guys, look at this. And we just end lighted back and forth to kill people.
Oh,
all
my
that black
God.
holes. Yeah.
That's the originators.
Yep, we changed the meta.
Once
we won
again,
like 10, 20 2v2 tournaments in a row back then. So
once again, you ruined Brawlhalla.
we ruined Brawlhalla. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be the title of the show, I think. Title ruined Brawlhalla.
There it is. Like,
And then
we so happy.
And then we just recount all of the ways that that you ruined Brawlhalla. We're just gonna edit it down to just all of the different ways that you ruined the game.
5-minute video.
Oh man, that's great. We are nearing the end of our time with each other today.
Oh no.
But it's been great having you on and getting
It's been fun
to do this. Do you have anything you'd like to kind of say to close out the show? Anything you'd like to say to like the broader community, or
shout out to the one guy who wanted me on this podcast. Appreciate you. I don't know who your name was, but shout out to that guy. Other than that, no, it's just been fun talking about Brawlhalla with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, thank you very much for being on the show, Tybo. And honestly, we should probably do something like this again in the future.
Yeah,
so, that'd be fun. All right, have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for watching this episode of Brawlhalla Origins. We'll be back next week with another episode. Join our VIP list by signing up at season2.brawlhallaorigins.com to get early access to each episode, special clips, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes updates. See you next week.